Okay, welcome to Lesson 5, Session 1. We are going to explore proportional relationship problems. We've learned to identify and model proportional relationships. Well, now we want to go ahead and use proportional relationship to solve multi-step problems. So, you will need a calculator, so make sure you have your calculator and your workbook with you. Our first problem here is going to be on page 83. We're going to go right into it. We see fractions. We're happy because who doesn't like word problems with some fractions in it? So, a recipe for 4 cups of trail mix calls for 2/3 cups of raisins. So, I see here immediately, I see 4 cups of trail mix, 2/3 cups of raisins. I see two quantities, so that's a definite information given. Anaya has 1.5 cups of raisin. And we need to know, does Anaya have enough raisins to make 14 cups of trail mix? If not, how many more cups of raisins does Anaya need? So, we know she has 1.5 cups of raisins. We need to try to make 14 cups of trail mix. So, when we are dealing with proportions, we can always go to our ratio, y divided by x. Now, in this problem, we're trying to find out how many cups of raisins to our cups of trail mix. So I'm going to be putting our cups of raisins as our y, that is dependent on our x here, our trail mix. So here we have our cups of raisin to our cups of trail mix. Okay. It was given that our y here, 2/3 cups of raisins, I'm going to put 2/3 to every 4 cups of trail mix. So here I see a ratio and we have some fractions. So when we're dividing fractions, we do our reciprocal of the denominator multiplied to the top fraction. So um, in order to take 4 and divide it by 4 is the same thing as if we multiply it by 1/4. The flipped reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. What we do on the bottom, if we're multiplying by 1/4 on the bottom, we're going to multiply by 1/4 on the top. So here we have 1 on the bottom denominator, 2/3 times 1/4. So 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. And we can reduce that. So we can redo this. All right, so that gives us 1/6 to 1. I'm leaving it like this so that we understand that every 1/6 cup of raisin will give us 1 cup of trail mix. So we need to know about how many raisins is needed for 14 cups. So if we multiply 1 times 14, that will give us our 14 cups of trail mix. And what we do on the bottom, we do to the top. 1 times 14 is 14. 6 times 1 is 6. So we have 14/6, and we can further reduce that to, if we divide it by 2, that gives us 7/3. Okay, so now for the fun part. Anaya has 1.5 cups of raisin. And we need to know if that's enough. 7/3. Okay, if we convert this to an improper fraction, 7/3 is 2 1/3. All right, well, definitely 1.5 is going to be less than 2 1/3. So we're going to have to subtract. So let's pull out our calculator, and I'm going to use Desmos here. So on our calculator, I'm going to take 2 1/3. So I'm going to take 2 fraction 1/3. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to minus 1 and 1/2. And now we're going to convert this to a fraction. So click on that, convert to fraction. So we have 5/6. So 2 and 1/3 minus 1 and 1/2 with our calculator, we know that we're going to need 5/6 cups of raisins. So no, it wasn't enough. And we need 5/6 cups of raisins. And that's how we answered that. Okay, so we have another problem here. A formula for 6 gallons of light green paint uses 3/8 gallons of white paint. Liam has 9/16 gallons of white paint. So our question here is, does Liam have enough white paint to make 8 gallons of light green paint? If not, how much more does he need? Show your answer. So, all right, so again, we need to identify. So here we have 8 gallons of light green. We need to know if that we have enough white paint to make that. So I'm going to make our gallon white paint is our Y. That wasn't a very good Y. And then I'm going to use our light green as our X, independent. So I'm going to put 3/8 to 6 gallons. And in order to reduce that, it's going to take dividing by 6, same thing as multiplying by 1/6. What we do on the bottom, we'll do to the top. So this cancels out. That's a 1. And then I know this can be reduced. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now we have 1 16. So for every 1 gallon of the light green paint, we need 1/16 white paint. We want to know if there's enough for 8 gallons of light green for the 9/16. So if we times 8 here, we have our 8 gallons of light green. What we do on the bottom, we do to the top. So now we have 8 over 16. Now, from looking from here, we need 8/16 to do 8 gallons, and Liam has 9/16. So 9/16 is greater than 8/16. So yeah, we do have enough gallon of paint. So Liam does have enough. Because 9/16 is greater than 8/16.